What's going on, everyone? I'm just your average, everyday Canadian nerd here to react to your average, everyday American man here to react to the death of the Queen and the new reign of the King. Well, this is something that we're all still kind of processing, even though it happened long ago. It was 9 months ago that this video was recorded. And I'm thinking after doing this video, maybe I should respond to today's video that he recorded, which, given today, it is about, I don't know, I'm not up to date on these videos. I'm 9 months behind watching this, which is old news at this point. And that was even before the coronation featuring the giant penis on the lawn. If you're not familiar with that giant penis on the lawn, then hey, you might have missed some news during the coronation. And it's something worth looking up. It was quite upstanding show. It was a big erection, what can I say? And with that out of the way, let's talk about the new King Dick and get this picture out of the way and get the video underway.
Everyone, I'm just
a
typical.
Hey, wow.
What's going on, everyone?
There it is.
I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about how Queen Elizabeth's death has affected Canada and will affect Canada going into the future.
All right, so here we are in the future, and has it really affected us? I mean, my life is no different. Is yours? The money's supposed to change, but has it? I mean, aside from the $10 bill, which is always different? I digress. Let's continue.
Now, as an American, I really have no concept of royalty, monarchy, and I have a better understanding of how the United Kingdom royalty relates to Canada and the Commonwealth.
Kinda.
I have a better understanding than I think most Americans, just because I've been here just trapped on the internet learning about it for a while now, which has been fun and has thankfully given me some knowledge that I have slowly but surely accumulated. So I understand there's a relationship between the Queen Elizabeth, the new king, King Charles, and Canada.
Yeah,
and
technically.
How they affect one another. But I have to admit, one thing I've been wondering about is it would be impossible for me to say or understand. So I am curious what the average Canadian thinks about Queen Elizabeth's death.
We don't.
And the new king, King Charles.
We still don't.
And all of that.
Okay, so there's like a percentage of the population who really cares about royalty. The average Canadian doesn't.
I don't quite understand the relationship.
I mean, exactly.
I understand the facts a little bit, but I don't understand the cultural relationship. And
I kind of don't either. I mean, I get it, right? Like, the royalty was in charge of everything. Canada happened. We separated from royalty, but we needed to stay linked to the royalty somehow. So the Governor General became the Canadian monarch representative. And that's not changing. Even though the royal member has changed. I just don't even care about, like, the royals at all. This whole Harry and Meghan thing, the Prince Andrew thing, it's just like, get them away from us. Just keep them away. Take away their whatevers. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And that is the average Canadian opinion about the royalty. Let's continue.
If that makes sense. what the people of Canada actually think about all this. I'm sure there's mourning and sadness. There's sadness and respect and mourning of the Queen going on in America. But at the end of the day, we're pretty distant from it all. We don't have any real relationship to it.
Other side of the pond.
In Canada, I realized, wait, there's an extremely relevant relationship there that I almost hadn't realized, you know? But American media is covering this. I'm sure in Canada, this is all being covered quite closely as well.
A lot.
And I was actually looking up some articles here, you know, to try to refresh myself and understand things a little better. The relationship between Canada and the UK.
Okay.
First of all, Canada's part of the Commonwealth. And I was actually hearing that, gosh, some of the members of the Commonwealth, now with Queen Elizabeth's passing, are talking about exiting the Commonwealth and ending that relationship.
That was like a matter of respect for Elizabeth herself, and had a lot less to do with the crown as it did with, she was a pretty amazing woman.
I don't know if that's something Canada is talking about. I know that there's this Governor General of Canada. Yes, I had learned about this and forgotten the official representative of the Canadian monarch to the British monarchy. So I was trying to refresh myself on that, you know, just try to understand things a little bit. But
cool, he's learning.
At the end of the day, there's only so much I can understand as an American. I'm just learning this all for the first time, basically. But I'm just interested how this is all affecting Canada. And I did find this video, which I did want to watch, which was what changes will Canada see after Queen Elizabeth's death? Which,
let's find out, because
this is extremely relevant because that has happened, and I imagine changes are going to happen. So
are they? I mean, the money.
She's the only monarch most living Canadians have known, Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I hate to pause it that quickly, but Queen Elizabeth has been around for 70 years as queen. It's insane. It's outrageous. It's when Americans think of the UK, they think of the Queen. That's the symbol. That's who pops into our head.
Right?
We basically figured at this point she'd be around forever, you know? It just felt that way for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, her and Betty White.
For as long as most people who could ever watch this video have been alive for 70 years.
Right.
Respect to you if you're over 70 years old. Good for you. And watching this. But for most of us, our only life experience
is there, I know.
Queen Elizabeth as queen. So this is all new to us. Americans included. So, yeah.
During his 70-year reign, our head of state, the Queen's name was deeply entrenched into Canada's identity. Here at Wood.
See, this is the things I need to learn that I don't know.
Yeah.
How deeply entrenched was Queen Elizabeth into Canadian culture?
Okay, so she's on the money. You know, on one side we've got the caribou. On the other side, it's the Queen. On one side is the loonie. On the other side is the Queen, right? And she was on the $20 bill. Okay, and okay, there's a highway, the 417, also known as the Queensway. And there's a highway known as the QEW, the Queen Elizabeth Way. Two separate roads, different parts of Ontario. But the Queensway is also known as the One Road. The Trans-Canada Highway. The One Road. You'd go one way to get to British Columbia. You go the other way to get to Quebec and Newfoundland. And if you end up in Ottawa when you're trying to go one of the other places, you might be going the wrong way.
And all of that.
Fine racetrack where on 4 occasions the Queen attended one of the most famous races, the Queen's Plate. It's the oldest continuously run race in North America, dating to...
Oh, look, the Queen came and visited Canada to see this this horse race? That was probably pretty big news.
1860. Yeah. Her Majesty loved horses, loved the sport, but what happens with the name of the event?
Certainly we will continue.
Oh, the name of the event is named after the Queen?
The Queen's Plate.
There's some things like this where I figure, why don't you just leave some of this stuff like this, in honor of Queen Elizabeth?
Right.
Do we need to change everything?
She's a groovy gal.
A lot of it is based on tradition and protocol, so I don't know exactly how it works.
The Queen didn't need a driver's license because the driver's license was permission from the Queen to drive a car. And she would often drive a car around her property because she thought it was fun.
Continue on with the relationship with the monarchy. The last couple days have just felt too early to talk about whether the name will change pursuant to tradition. I mean, it was the King's Plate from 1901 to 1952.
All right.
Oh, wow. See, that's already great information for me. We're talking about the idea of, this happens. The monarch changes, the name changes in accordance with tradition. Heck, maybe we're going to step away from that and name it something else entirely. We don't know. It's too soon to say for Canada.
Sorry, the in accordance with tradition just reminded me of the Canadian royal wedding, as is tradition.
That's very interesting stuff.
From expressways to Queen's Park and the seat of the Ontario legislature, there's no requirement or reason that the Queen's name couldn't remain.
I think there'll be others who will analyze that.
Mayor John Tory says someone with an expert eye will review those things.
Such a short clip.
With an expert eye? What? I don't know what they're making this sound like, some kind of scientific analysis. But I would think it's just kind of up to the people of Canada to kind of decide if they think it represents Canada as a nation or not.
It's going to be experts like representatives, scholars, historians, lawmakers.
Now, for the moment, we're engaged in the kind of much more, focused mourning that will go on for the next 10 days.
Canada's currency won't be affected. Anything with the Queen's image will always be legal tender.
Good.
Yeah, right. All the currency. I actually didn't realize.
Oh, that's a terrible angle.
So much of the currency in Canada had the Queen's portrait on it. I had reacted to Canadian currency before in another video, but I was more wrapped up in how cool it looked and the high-tech material it was made of that I didn't quite realize, and now it's very relevant, that Queen Elizabeth's portrait, of course, is on it.
And to be fair, the coins that he was shown only showed the tail, not the head, so we didn't see the Queen's face, we saw the blue nose.
So apparently that's just going to remain legal tender, and then maybe the King's portrait will come at a later date.
Where courts are concerned, the changes are immediate.
Not.
Places like Alberta, where the Superior Court was called Court of Queen's Bench, it's already been changed to Court of King's Bench.
Wow.
Everywhere else, it'll switch from her to his, along with the Latin terms on documents.
Right.
Yeah, that's
this is
fair.
happening a lot in the UK, as I understand it, that we're switching from a queen, and now we're having a king. So the pronouns have to change to reflect His Majesty.
Oh, I bet that's making some people angry.
Even God Save the Queen, the national anthem, is going to change to God Save the King, I believe. So there's apparently courts in Canada named for the monarch, so that will change, and that's a legal thing, so I guess I understand why that changes so quickly.
Gina versus the accused. Now it will be His Majesty the King. Rex versus the accused. In civil cases, if you're suing the government, you may be suing the Queen in right of Ontario.
Okay.
No longer will anyone swear allegiance to the Queen.
Things like citizenship oaths, oaths that members of...
Right, oaths. Yeah, national stuff where you're kind of swearing to the monarchy.
Does that mean all previous oaths are null and void?
It's a king now.
Parliament would take. When you become a lawyer, you swear an oath to the Queen. So now you will...
Wow, I really didn't realize how Canada was still so related and so deeply entrenched to the monarchy, where
on
lawyers
paper
and citizens, possibly new citizens, maybe are when they have to make oaths or fill out things, it's to the Queen. I didn't actually realize that relationship.
He's swearing an oath to the king.
No matter what Canada's oldest race is eventually called, Queen Elizabeth II will always be top of mind here.
The race goes on.
Yeah, that's another thing, is the Queen Elizabeth, in America was, as even as limited as our understanding of it all is, we still had a deep admiration and respect for the Queen.
Yeah,
even though we didn't really have a huge intimate relationship, everyone just always had that respect. So I imagine it's very similar and actually amplified in Canada.
Probably.
Where Canadians are probably deeply saddened by this.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing where...
Nobody I knew was sad about it. I mean, it was all very expected. She was really old, Like, I think she outlived my Oma. She outlived my grandma. People that are old die. It's what happens. I'm sorry, Peter. It's gonna happen to you. I'm sorry, Glenn. It's gonna happen to you. Yeah, it's gonna happen to me. It's gonna happen to all of us. It's gonna happen to Tyler. Just live with it.
I don't know for sure what Canadian individuals think of royalty and the Queen and all that. If it's too steeped in tradition, or it's something that you greatly cherish. I don't know. As an American, it's just not something we have had ever. We just have nothing to relate to understand it.
Like, I think as a family, we were more broken up by Princess Diana's passing than Queen Elizabeth's.
And regardless of the name, her legacy will certainly live on in the world of horse racing and in the world of horse racing in Canada and particularly at Woodbine.
Well, that's nice.
From law in the courts, the decision to keep the Queen's name versus changing it to our new king's will likely be a choice and not a requirement. Whether it's hospitals or schools or road...
Wait, what?
Will likely be a courts the decision to keep the Queen's name versus changing it to...
Particularly at Woodbine.
Aside from law in the courts, the decision to keep the Queen's name versus changing it to our new king's will likely be a choice and not a requirement.
Oh, does Canada actually refer to it as our king, our queen? So,
no.
It would be correct to say that King Charles is the king of Canada?
Yes.
That would be correct and accurate to say?
Yes and no.
I never thought of it like that, ever.
Hospitals or schools or roadways, it's unlikely that many names will be changed, at least not soon.
Yeah, like, I'm thinking the Queen's Way and the Queen Elizabeth Way will both keep those names, but I'm not a doctor. What do I know?
Oop. Okay, well, that actually all makes pretty good sense to me. It seems like there is a deep respect for the Queen, and
on paper,
besides legal stuff, a lot of institutions will be up to them to decide if they want to change the names around and stuff, or keep it in memory of Queen Elizabeth. That's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Look at this. The Globe and Mail. Is that a Canadian journal or newspaper?
Well, it's in Canada.
Is stuck with the monarchy. We should thank our lucky stars. Is that being sarcastic, or...
I don't know why.
Are you actually thanking your lucky stars for that?
I'm not.
Well, this article would suggest that Canadians are quite happy with the monarchy.
We're quite happy with the monarchy staying where they are.
That's good intel for me. I'm like a little detective here, trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
I also have a short video here I wanted to watch.
Okay.
Just Canadians mourn the loss of Queen Elizabeth II. And
Some
I felt
did.
like I needed to watch this and react to it, because I do want to understand the deeper relationship between Canada and the Queen.
Okay.
And mourning is a part of that and will help me understand, because it basically will show that the deepness of that connection, and it's just another cultural thing.
I think the word cult in there was the important key word, because it's a lot like people who care about the Kardashians, people who care about other celebrities. Those people who care about their new celebrity influencer on social media. I don't get it, but I'm also not your typical kind of person, because I'm not neurotypical.
That I think will give me a deeper insight.
It's easy at times to forget that Canada is a member of the Commonwealth.
So tonight, hearts are heavy on the...
It's easy to forget that Canada is a member of the Commonwealth. Well, I did have to kind of Google that. I'm sorry. I had to Google that beforehand to just make sure. I believe there's 12 or something Commonwealth nations that I suppose all refer to the king as their king. So,
hey, not anymore. A lot of these nations are just like, well, Queen's gone. We don't need the royalty anymore.
That's this is all stuff, Americans have. I mean, 99% of Americans don't even know what the Commonwealth is. So I guess I'm at least
wow.
a little ahead of the game.
I don't believe that, but okay.
Canada is a member of the Commonwealth.
So tonight, hearts are...
Oh, this is an American news in Detroit. Oh, this is funny.
Okay.
So this is going to be Americans reporting on Canada. See how this goes.
Heavy on the other side of the Detroit River in Windsor, and that's a town where a city that Queen Elizabeth had a very special connection to. Tim Pamplin is in Windsor tonight. Tim?
If you were with us at 4 o'clock, you saw some of the shock on people's faces as they heard the news of the passing of Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah. I mean, Americans reported it in the news that the Queen was fallen ill and that the royal family members were visiting her and trying to get to her, and it seemed like a lot of Americans were concluding that maybe the death of the Queen had occurred, maybe the news was about to report this, it didn't sound good, and sure enough, that is what happened.
Just a few moments ago, a worker showed up here, lowering the Canadian maple leaf to half-staff.
Oh, yeah. See, this is the kind of thing
half-staff.
I don't think America lowered any flags or anything.
We actually say it's half-mast, but okay.
We don't have we don't have a relationship like that to the crown.
The Queen made a couple of visits here to Windsor, and just like the Queen herself, it was a visit that stayed.
Windsor? Huh.
Yes, as in Windsor Castle, we have a Windsor, Ontario.
Is this very close to the United States, I suppose?
Yes, there's lots of parts of Ontario that are very close to lots of parts of the United States.
With many Windsorites.
Lots of parts of Canada
over 100,
next to the United States. We're neighbors.
This was 1984.
Oh, so
share
the
a
Queen
fence.
Visited Windsor.
When the Queen and Prince
and a yard.
When?
100,000 line the motorcade route.
This was 1984.
1984, like 40 years ago?
The Queen and Prince
roughly
visited Windsor, made their way down Ouellette Avenue to Dieppe Park, meeting local dignitaries and the thousands that came out to greet her, regardless of your location.
Did the Queen ever visit America? I don't ever remember hearing about that. Would she have a reason to? I don't think so.
Socially, maybe.
Or station in life, she was your queen.
We're having royalty here today, and our queen stands for something very special.
Well-wishers and ceremonially planting the silver maple.
Robert here tells me he was in the park that day. First-year student at the university.
Yeah, it'd be pretty special to, especially now, to have said you met the Queen in real life, you saw her in the flesh, you were there. It's cool that she visited Canada. Makes complete sense.
I guess.
Now that I think about it.
Played in the marching band and played "Oh Canada" and "God Save the Queen."
It was extremely exciting. You could hear as the motorcade came down Ouellette Avenue, our main street here in Windsor. As the motorcade came down, you could hear the roar of the crowd move with the cars.
I see her and I just think of all that's good, and she's not political. You don't get involved with, parties and factions and stuff like.
Yeah, that is cool how.
Oh, and her little wave, right? The subtle movement of the hand.
UK royalty is apolitical, and it's just about kind of steeped in a tradition of that.
Yeah, she's sort of above it all.
She certainly was. So back at her live, there you see Detroit off in the distance. Remember in that story that she planted a tree? Well, here is that tree, that maple tree. The plaque down there.
All right.
You can see Detroit from Windsor. Gosh,
yes.
I don't even understand American geography.
Dude, look at a map once in a while. Come on.
Commemorating her visit here.
Oh, cool. She planted this tree. Yeah, in the video, they showed that. She had a shovel.
Moments ago.
1984.
Oh, that's cool. That's actually really cool that that's there.
Indeed, for many people around the world. For now, over in Windsor, back to you guys downtown.
And certainly one for our resident Brit, Tim Pamplin, as well. I know Tim's been in touch with his family. Much more coming from Tim here over these next couple of days as well.
That's right.
Okay. That was not exactly the video I thought it would be. I thought maybe they'd do a couple more. Oh, we got a video trying to play randomly.
They're coming up next. It's what happens on YouTube.
I thought that they would maybe interview a couple more Canadian people and kind of get their thoughts and reactions to the Queen's death.
There's the reaction.
I think
some thoughts.
I have a much, much better idea now. The relationship was quite deep. Is deep. I'm talking like it's over.
And also shallow at the same time.
But I am curious about the future now that I phrase it like that. Queen Elizabeth really was
in the future.
An institution, a symbol, all
she
in
was.
and of herself.
She's a fantastic woman.
That's been through so much time. If you've been just being around that long and being queen, living through the evolution of the internet and globalization.
Yeah.
And she's just like a key, a doorway to the past and the present, and always such an outstanding individual with a good sense of humor. Yeah, there were so many admirable qualities about the Queen. I'd be interested to to learn about Canada's opinion on the new king.
Yeah, whatever. He married a horse.
And what the relationship is going to be now going into the future. Maybe I'm talking out of line here. I don't know. Maybe suggesting that anything will change. Maybe everything will stay the same, relationship-wise.
Nothing stays the same.
Perfectly happy about that.
Everything always changes. It's the way of the world. And 2020 marked the end of an era, the beginning of a new age, is why I often refer to any time before the pandemic as the before times in the long, long ago. Because since then, the world has changed. This is one of those watershed moments that changed everything, much like 9/11 was. And afterwards, there were a few more changes that kind of cemented the end of one era, the beginning of a new era, and now we are living in the future. The future without a queen. The future without global peace. The future with global fear. The future that we are all observing and co-creating all at once. The future that will feature aliens, faster than light travel, the revelation of the secret space program, the announcement of Lunar Operation Command, the announcement of the Alliance. Yes, welcome to the future. You may not know we're here yet, but let me assure you we are, and things will continue changing rapidly as we move forwards. Because there has been a global secret that has been kept from all of us. There has been so much that has been pulled over our eyes. There has been so much secrecy that those who believe in the flat earth will be blown away, not by how much truth they're aware of, but just how accurate their untruths were. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video today. It may have got a little existentially strange near the end, but I think when it comes to royalty in Canada, that's the appropriate amount of strange. Well, if you're curious into this future that I talk about, if you're curious about the global conspiracy that I hint at, if you appreciated anything about this video, Tyler, me reacting to Tyler, my cat showing up and meowing, walking through the background, meowing some more, and demanding attention as she throws her toys around the room. Anything like that, you know, go ahead, like that video if you liked it. Comment on whatever thoughts you have, what you'd like to hear me talk about. And, hey, you know, if you want to see more, like when I actually start diving into the spiritual, metaphysical, and extraterrestrial of it all, pay attention to my Minecraft videos. The most recent two are Gymcraft, where I talk about my gym experiences. The next one will be also Gymcraft, as I continue on with world number 3 in my hardcore Minecraft series. Go ahead and subscribe for any of that. And, well, I hope you just keep coming back and enjoying what's going on here. I've been the king, and you've been awesome. I hope y'all just keep being awesome. Bye. Science. Spirit. Life.